Hey guys, I hope you're ready for some spicy action right here because we're going to continue the group stage of Kharak Cup 12 in Group C now. It's going to be Shrike as the Coalition versus Garmilator as the Coalition. This is a match that is going to be really spicy. I am really excited for this one. I don't know what map 1 is actually. It's probably not too important though because the group stage obviously you play on both maps. It's not really a best of 2, it's more just get as many wins as you can, so not too concerned about which game is played first here, but it is going to be Shrike versus Garmilator, Coalition versus Coalition, and going to be taking place in the Boneyard here for map 1. Shrike, or maybe it's Maze, I'm not totally sure, but you know, we'll see. Down here in the white and red Coalition carrier, looks like he's sort of inverse Sobaning over there. Garmilator, as usual, is going to be the black and gray, trying to hide his air tech Coalition carrier. Two players you should definitely be familiar with. Garmilator we haven't seen for a little while, but I mostly attribute that to the fact that Jirachi Cup 1 went on forever, and that was definitely somebody's fault, I don't know who. But yeah, obviously he didn't want to play in the modded tournament. He did want to play in the next Kharak Cup, and then it happened to be like 2 months later, but as promised he is here. Definitely back in the day what I would consider to be possibly the best Coalition versus Coalition player in the game. Matchup between him and Discara, it's hard to say. He's here in Kharak Cup 12. The thing is, Shrike though, definitely one of the more up-and-coming players in the game. I'm almost ready to say he's top tier. He's just continued to impress me game after game. You know, it just looks like he's getting better and better with time. He's actually the guy who broke my winning streak on auto match, which I'm just a little salty about. So two really good players here, and I'm really excited to see how they go at it with each other. It looks like Shrike going to be going for AAV fabrication early this time. A couple of LAVs going to be produced by both sides, looks like. Well, a couple. It's actually Garmilator, of course, so all he needs is LAV. He's going to come out with the Raffle train, as you can see. Oh, I hit a button and something changed. Oh, it was alt. Never mind. I was all excited for a second. Have you noticed, though, on some maps, it'll only show you the boundary of the map if you have... This is some kind of conspiracy theory. The boundary of the map just kind of disappeared there. Anyhow, Garmilator's setting up his base sprinter in this position over here, and he's going to set down a turret. Looks like he's trying to just deny the extraction from his opponent there. LAV train is definitely out here, and they are going to easily beat the 2 LAVs from Shrike, but he does have AAVs on the way already. It's actually interesting to see Garmilator not go for AAVs. That tends to be what he would do against, like, Discara, for example. We'll see what the play is here. He probably won't be able to get any damage done with these LAVs, though. Maybe he can do some damage over here on the second. He does have his probe scouting over there, so he knows that it's free, and that is indeed where he's headed. Probe from Shrike going to catch this LAV moving in that vector. Probably that ought to tell him that the LAVs are headed toward that second. But he's just got no interest in it at all. He's just going to move straight out across the map here. It looks like his base runner are going to head back over to the expansion of his opponent to set down a turret. So that's sort of returning the favor here. LAV is going to deny the expansion from Shrike. Turret going to deny the expansion from Garmilator. That base runner is going to head over to the extraction zone. Turret finds the AAV here from Shrike. Shrike definitely wanting to smoke and get away from this one. This is not a fight that you can take. He's going to smoke and just try to run past him. Oh boy. That's gutsy. I don't think he's going to make it. Garmilator, you monster. Is he really, or maybe he's doing this as... No, yes, Forkritic comes out. Railgun fabrication is on the way, and he is going to try to carrier rush. Alright. But first he's going to weed out the turret here from Shrike. Gotta say, I think that's a bit of a mistake. He should probably just go straight in if he's going to carrier rush. And Shrike gonna move down across the map and try to set up a turret on Garmilator's main. If Garmilator is really trying to carrier rush here, that's just gonna completely shut him down. Then again, you never know, he might actually not be trying to carrier rush. In which case I'm just sort of reading things into this, but if he is, then this turret getting set up in the main is just completely gonna shut down whatever Garmilator was planning. Artifact cannot be extracted, the AVs are gonna deny it. And Shrike actually looking like he's completely in control of this match. Oh, this is incredible. And the real reason I find this so amazing is because this is not at all how he should be in control of the match, but he is. So, fighter and gunship coming out for Shrike now. It's going to be a good counter to the railguns from Garmilator. And it looks like he's kind of outwitted this guy. Well, the LAVs come back into town, so they're going to be able to deny that turret setup. I hope for Shrike's sake he doesn't actually try to set it up in this case. I don't think he will. He'll just leave this guy here as a bit of a threat. The LAVs have to clean him up. And then the AAV is going to push into the main, actually. Garmilator is making railguns, but it's going to be tricky for him to hold this off. LAV just scouting that third. That's a good move. Because Garmilator usually does not take the third, but if he does, you definitely want to know about it. Support cruiser having to be evacuated. And like I said, Shrike just looking like he's totally on top of this game here. Garmilator's base printer kind of derping on him in sort of a crucial moment. This is unfortunate to see. Smokes from Shrike actually going to block that support cruiser, so that's a little bit fortunate for Garmilator. Not going to be an issue for him there. Yeah, LAV's just getting thrown in there to take out that AAV. That's a fair move. They're not really... That's not really a bad trade in any respect. And no salvagers went down, but I think the mining time delay for Garmilator makes this worth it for Shrike, as he does begin to set up that Air Force. And Garmilator, I'm sure, has seen this with his probe. He probably is aware. And he actually is going to start taking up this third base. But again, the LAV here going to see this. And that is going to be known information for Shrike. So Shrike, like I said, in my opinion, really in charge of this map so far, but he is still going to fall behind if he doesn't try to compete with that third base expansion, or if he doesn't do some damage here, and that's of course the other option for him. Garmilator knows about the air tech, so that's not going to really be enough of a surprise, I don't think, to do a whole lot of damage to the Garmilator. Whoa, excuse me. Air units are getting launched here now, probably just going to take out those railguns once they see them. You know, this would be more threatening, right, if there were some AAVs coming up in the backline. You can see Shrike is floating quite a bit, so it looks like, you know, he was a bit focused on that attack, was not quite able to focus on doing damage to, continuing to build units here. But actually, he's just going to fly straight over to the support cruiser, start hammering in some damage on them. In fact, these things are called hammers. Support cruiser anti-air going to be on the way for Garmilator, quick as you like. And he's got a lot of power in that carry. He needs to power out the repairs here. He could maybe have saved the support. It's kind of a stretch. He probably would have gone down anyway. But yeah, I'm confused he didn't have support cruiser anti-air on the way already. He knew that there were air units on the way, or at least he should have. He saw that on the carrier, so... The support cruiser anti-air is going to come out, but the damage is already sort of done for Shrike here, so he's going to be totally fine with this. Support cruiser on the way now for Shrike. Oh, excuse me. And he plans to expand up onto that third base there. And a bit more harassment coming in up on the top here. So, Backstab manages to evade the probes of Garmilator, and he does get in. Garmilator with Power Reserve 2 finished already, as well as 2 artifacts going to be extracted very shortly. But he's got no steam. He can't get an attack going here. If you're going to do like a 2-base timing attack, you really need to not be delayed so much as he was. LAV's going to be denied the salvage. No, they get it. They do actually get that salvage or kill, but still going to be important for Shrike that he does expand a little faster than his opponent here. Wants to move his carrier out now. He has the support cruiser and his opponent does not. This means he could actually unlock his carry, go for a 2-base play, but given the current circumstance, I wouldn't do it. If I were him, I would just, Oh, look at that. Garmilator actually with another support cruiser out already. He's going to be on 3-base first. So the old Swede proving to be very resilient to Shrike here. Shrike needs to be a bit careful now, bleeding one strike fighter already to that anti-air turret post. A second maybe going to go down here. It will. Almost certainly. Oh my god. Oh no, he does go down to another missile. I thought he was actually going to get out of there. So 2 strike fighters killed there in sort of a way that I feel like they shouldn't have been. I did say Garmilator was going to extract one more. It looks like he has, but it's a little bit more narrow than I expected. So that's 2 artifacts for Garmilator, and he actually is going to move out now with his carrier. Power Reserve 3 on the way. He's not interested in holding that third base, or is he? Maybe he is. He sort of equivocates a little bit there, but he doesn't indeed choose to go back to the third base. Now Shrike going to be setting up his third as well. I don't know, I just kind of feel like Garmilator's not sure exactly what he wants to do. He's going to be pretty safe here, right? He's got 2 railguns watching the expansion. LAV's definitely scouting this. Railguns can shoot at them from a distance. These AAVs here not really going to be able to do much, although they're actually on pretty spicy high ground right there, it looks like. Smoke comes out and they choose to just get out of there. Probably wise. Never makes sense to just throw away units for free unless you're going to get some kind of an advantage out of it. In this case, Shrike certainly won't, so he'll just back away there. Strike Fighters, I think, wanting to take a bite out of these railguns here, but they need to be careful. Sport Cruiser Anti-Air is actually finished. And that will kill Strike Fighters alarmingly quickly, but the micro is good. Oh yeah, okay, these Strike Fighters definitely need to get out of here now. I would just dock them all. One Strike Fighter goes down already, but Shrike gonna stay in there. Another one gets taken out by the joint effort of those LAVs and the Sport Cruisers, so... And Garmilator has 3 Sport Cruisers out now, so his carrier is out. Power Reserve 4 is on the way. And he's going to begin the railgun spam, try and see if he can make a power play here, but this is very delayed. I mean, coming into the 19-minute mark, that's actually not true. The 11-minute mark, I can do math. That's quite slow for Garmilator, actually. Garmilator, one of those players who almost always goes for a 2-base timing attack here, so he's definitely going to be a bit slower than he wants to be. Probe here, pretty fortunate for him, but he still needs to find a way to defend that main. Those 2 AAVs, like I said, rather than being thrown away, they're ready to come in here for another attack, and that's going to be good. Uh-oh, Shrike going to want to be a little careful with the railguns there. Ooh. Carrier going to get a little smacked here, and I really like the placement of the AVs there to get vision. A little foray into the main is successful, denying a little bit of mining time as well. And the 2 railguns actually getting a little mis-micro. They're going to move away from that main, so that AAV has the potential even to kill a support cruiser here as long as it doesn't get noticed. And Shrike repels the initial push by this carrier here. Garmilator having to back away a little bit. But it's still worth noting, Shrike on Power Reserve 0. Garmilator going to be on 5 pretty soon. So... Support Cruiser's still just slowly getting hooned on here, definitely going to need to be protected in some way. Looks like Garmilator, though, getting vision with those LAVs with the probe, he is going to send those railguns back up. He'll take care of this, but this is a little bit of uncomfortable damage on this Sport Cruiser here. You don't want it to take any damage at all, ideally. Another carrier production upgrade finishes for Shrike. And I mean, if he's not, oh, you know what? No, certainly not, never mind. I was gonna say, like, he could actually sacrifice these Strike Fighters to clear the railguns and maybe even get, like, a Support Cruiser pick here, but that's not true. Support Cruiser, the AAV's gonna die before that. And these Strike Fighters just going in YOLO mode. They want to kill the Support Cruisers so badly, but they're just gonna get smacked to pieces for it. I don't know. He is not even going to get the kill. Oh, he is. Oh my god. He didn't fire the missiles. Okay, whoever's firing that, flying that Strike Fighter needs to be fired right now because he definitely dropped the ball right there. That is really unfortunate for Shrike, who really should have another Support Cruiser kill at this point, I feel. Is that a cruise missile launching? It is. This is quite premature, I would say. He's gonna strike at that eco though. Oh my gosh, alright, maybe not. Maybe that was good. Garmilator, of course, he knows how to get high ground on those cruise missiles. One thing which fortunately has been fixed in the patch, but in vanilla you do get the high ground attack bonus for the cruise missile if you're up on high ground with the carrier, so that's why he does smack down the Sport Cruiser in one hit. So Shrike bleeding a little bit there. He's going to need to replace his main at some point. He knows the cruise missile's out. But he's going to be able to kind of return the favor here, clear out the main from Garmilator. And if he can get in here, maybe there's even a Support Cruiser pick on the other end for it, but I don't think he can. Yeah, this carrier Depth Pack's even getting used with great effect. Look at that. Oh my goodness. It's one of the most impactful Depth Packs I've seen in a long time. That's crazy. Wow. Alright. Don't ever discredit Garmilator, guys. He's good at what he does. Dang. That's crazy. Well, railgun spam continues for Shrike, who had enough of a bank built up that he's able to maintain this, but he definitely needs to replace that main as soon as he can. Gonna try to push over this hill on these railguns from Garmilator. Garmilator, of course, with no armor upgrades, that's just how he rolls. He does not really get AAV fabrication unless he feels he needs it, so this is definitely going to be a railgun more that goes the way of Shrike, but Garmilator's carrier fairly powered up here, I think it's safe to say, and he is going to start chewing through the frontline AAVs over there. You know, I think Shrike really was in control this whole game, but it looks like he just didn't quite know what to, didn't quite know how to follow up here. He's making it work, but it's a real struggle. He's still got an angle on that carrier, though. It's taking so much damage. Garmilator's gonna go down here. He doesn't have any AVs to smoke. Is that cruise missile ready? It is. It's gonna fire, but Garmilator goes down first. I thought his carrier was safe, but no. Oh my god. Look at, what a way to finish, right? All the railguns just get smacked down. I mean, you can see, just like a couple seconds longer and Garmilator would have been fine there. I had no idea that a carrier snipe was coming in there. Wow. Garmilator goes down. And that's going to be a win for Shrike. That's awesome. Let's move into game 2. I'm really excited now. 15 minutes, too. It's not even terribly long. We've obviously seen some pretty grindy matches between, you know, Descara and Garmilator, but this weren't one of them. Next map's going to be Torrent Crater, I suppose. This map going to be good for Shrike, actually, I think. Because if he goes for like early game poking with AAVs, once again, Garmilator really going to have a lot of trouble holding it on Torrent Crater, so I think he's going to have to go for AAV fabrication himself. Yeah, and I think that'll be... Whoa, excuse me. I think that'll be good for Shrike. Because obviously Garmilator does not want to do that. He wants to just go for that LAV train like he likes to do. But I don't think he'll be able to. Yeah, sure enough, LAV fabrication not coming out immediately. But he might get it right now. Looks like it's going to be 7 salvagers up into Sport Cruiser first. I imagine he won't go for 8. That's pretty greedy. To get 8 salvagers in the beginning of the game. He's going to do it. Dang. Alright. Especially against Shrike, who you know pushed with AVs last game. I feel like, yeah, getting 8 salvagers first, that's quite risky. But looks like Shrike actually going to go for Sport Cruiser first off of 6 salvagers and LAV fabrication. That's something that I've often criticized in the past. I feel like if you do get scouting information that you need to have LAVs, having to cancel the Sport Cruiser is enough of a bitter pill that you just should never do this. But that remains to be seen if this will work or not. I just feel like, you know, there's no value out of the LAV tech, so you might as well have gotten the Sport Cruiser a little bit earlier instead. AV fabrication coming out now for Shrike. Just like last time. He's not going to pressure early, though. So that is going to let Garmilator get away with this pretty greedy build here.
Support cruiser now operational. Rally point set. Move to location. Enemy contacts on the board.
Garmilator going to scout that carrier move out. He knows exactly what that means. And this base runner from Shrike, once again, going to try to deny that second base eco. But Garmilator, not at all interested this time. He's actually going to move out with that carrier. Oh, are you kidding me? This is crazy. He might be carrier rushing. Power Reserve 1 comes out. He wants a fight, and he wants it right now. That is crazy. This probe is still kind of sharking around here. I'm just kind of checking the periphery of the base right now, but if he moves out there, he's going to see that carrier. That's going to be pretty important information for Shrike. It's 4 det packs to take out a turret, so Garmilator not going to be able to do that. But if I were Shrike, I'd be setting this turret up like right here, because obviously you're being seen right now. You don't want to waste any time. I guess there are kind of some ruffles around there. And I'm not talking about the chips, you know. Wait, ruffles are there are some ridges around there. So maybe it makes sense to move out just a little bit further here, but insufficient CUs. Oh, base runner is just sitting here. Shrike not going to be punished for this, of course, but he could be. He could well have been. Turrets not in range of each other, but this does guarantee that Shrike not going to be able to push on the main with that base runner, and that's all Garmilator needs. Probe scouts the carrier, so he sees it. And Shrike now going to be sort of in panic mode. I'd say Railgun Fabrication, Power Reserve 1, yep, he's definitely making the right moves here, but this is going to be a little hard to hold off. Just getting scouted a little bit late, I feel. Base runner for Garmilator going to move out toward the middle now. Another one is being produced off of the carrier, too. Still no railguns from Garmilator, but I'm sure they'll be coming out pretty soon. And this is definitely a carrier rush. And I think it's going to work too. This is going to be hard for Shrike to hold. He's kind of panic moving off of his second here as well. You don't want to concede the second until you have to, because that is actually an advantage you have over your opponent right now. So this is a little unfortunate to see. Power Reserve 2 coming out for Shrike now. Actually not yet for Garmilator, but see that's the thing. Garmilator actually is going to get his Power Reserves kind of for free here, if you will. Looks like Shrike going to get an extraction as well, but yeah, a little silly of Shrike, I've got to say, to move off of the second base there. That's really the first thing he's done this game, which hasn't been correct, I don't think, other than maybe not scouting that carrier move out a little bit faster. And Garmilator gonna actually mine off of his opponent's third now, it looks like. I mean, why not? You're already here, you're getting denied off the second base, you already have the salvagers, might as well do it. That's actually not a bad move at all, I don't think. But actually leaving one base runner back at home for the defense, I guess, and that's actually probably also not a bad move. And Shrike here, looks like he's going to be outmined, outgunned. Things are going to get really tough for him in just a second. LAB is desperately trying to take out the turrets here, but Garmilator just kind of coolly holding that off. No problem there. And his base is secure. That's of course the risk when you go for a carrier rush, is that your base is not going to be safe at all, but not going to matter in this case. And Garmilator with the superior economy. But you know what? Shrike with the superior railgun numbers. I'm actually thinking right now, like at this very moment, like Shrike needs to be pretty quick on this, but he could push out here. He could take the railgun fight, push out with his carrier, get back onto his second base. And that would pretty much be game, you know, if he could do that, if he could pull that off. Stealth railgun syndrome kind of catching him though, and his railgun micro not keeping up here. This is a problem, yeah, so I've talked about stealth railgun syndrome before. This is one of the biggest reasons why I prefer the patch over vanilla. The Coalition railguns have a slower fire rate than they have visibility time after shooting. So you have to continually retarget the railguns when they come into your view. For me, it's really not possible unless I, you know, take them all, put them on group 4, and then say like 4 attack, 4 attack, 4 attack every time they come back out of view. And you can tell Shrike's railgun micro just not quite as good as Garmilator's, and that is going to cost him. He's lost the railgun majority here. He still has carrier power lead. He's going to try to push out with it. Okay, pretty good first salvo comes out from them. But yeah, once again, they retarget onto a different unit. Railgun fight really not going Shrike's way now. It's like 3 on 7. And this is kind of expected because the longer this goes on, the more advantage Garmilator's going to have. Although actually, 2 of these guys just sort of chilling here. I'm not sure exactly why. Garmilator's carrier feeling pretty confident, just roll right in here. And he's just going to target the support cruiser. That's brutal. He's going to get it too. I mean, there's no way to stop this, but his carrier is going to get pretty low, actually. This is a little risky. Railguns do go down, though. And it looks like Garmilator's got this one in the bag. Shrike goes down in a blaze of glory. But you know what? Shrike, my boy. My boy! You took one off the giant himself, Garmilator, who is one of the best Coalition versus Coalition players in the game. Say what you will about him being a bit out of practice, but I mean, Shrike, you gotta be proud of this one. That was a really great series. I think it's still evident Garmilator got the edge over him. Obviously, Game 1 was a really hard-fought battle. It did go Shrike's way, but only just. Game 2 here seemed like it was just sort of a rollover. But, man. That was some good DOK. I hope you guys enjoyed that too. And I hope Shrike is stoked that he tied with Garmilator. That is really cool. And I'll catch you guys next time.